Hey guys, do you want to build a grow out tank that doubles as a plant farm? Welcome back to Finfinity. We're going to build a grow out tank today. So I've got a couple of baby fish that I need to get to grow out tanks. This is a 3-foot tank that I'm going to turn into a grow out tank. There's a lot of real estate. So what I'm planning on doing is to make this a Java fern plant farm. I'm going to keep this tank bare bottom. Water quality with baby fish is so important. I want to be able to clean it really, really well, easily. I'm going to do 2 sponge filters. Now I run air throughout this room, so it's easy and cheap for me to go ahead and pop some sponge filters in there. A power head would definitely be fine, but I would get one you can adjust the setting on so that there's not too much flow for the baby. Some fish don't mind, some do. So depending on what you're breeding, you want to pay attention to what kind of flow those fish need. I'm going to pop some driftwood in here. This will release some tannins into the water and keep our fish very healthy. I'm also hoping that it will grow a little infusoria culture on it, because that's usually where the biofilm is and the infusoria eats off that. That means that there'll always be food in this tank for those baby fish. Now with that driftwood, that's where we're going to start planting Java fern. I have a few different species now and I want to propagate them. This means that I'll create more plant to then put into other fish tank builds. So I think that that will optimize this tank perfectly for what I'm looking for. First things first, we've got to fill her up. Okay, so now I've got the water in there. I'm going to go ahead, add the sponge filters, and then we're going to seed it. So okay, so I've got my sponge filters in. Now if you've noticed, I haven't filled the tank all the way up. This is because I've gotten some sponge filters out of my old tanks and I've cleaned them in a bucket. Now we're gonna add that dirty water to this tank. It's gonna make it really, really mucky, but what that is doing is adding beneficial bacteria to this tank and helping it cycle. So all of this gunk and that is the fish poo and waste that has been gathered from my other tanks that are fully cycled and ready to go. What this is going to do is help seed these filters. Now the filter on this side here was pre-seeded in another tank, so we do have a beneficial bacteria colony on that filter, but this one was new. So what I'm hoping to do is just, like I said, speed along the cycling process. We're going to let it settle and do a water test and see where we're at. So it's been 24 hours since we set the tank up, and as you can see, all the debris has settled. I did my water test and we have got a little bit of a higher pH range and 0 ammonia, 0 nitrites, and some nitrates, but not a lot, almost 0. This is because I don't have a lot of nitrites in my tap water, as it is very, very soft. Now, usually after a 24-hour period of a brand new tank, my ammonia levels are high. So that's how I know that this is actually cycled through. So all that's left to do now is just to clean up the bottom, get all that gunk out, and then we can start thinking about planting some plants in there. This is the piece of driftwood I have that I'm going to attach our Java fern to. Now I'm using the Loctite super glue. This is aquarium safe. I have heaps of different Java fern, but we are mostly going to be focusing on this crested Java fern. I have plenty of babies, a small pile in the corner there. And we're going to attach it using some super glue. Now just a little tiny dot, and I'm going to attach most of them first. So we're going to stick with the crested Java fern. I do also have some needle leaf Java fern babies that I'm going to pop in there as well, see if I can get some more of them going. So basically all I'm going to do is just stick these down in sections. I'm going to try and keep the crested Java fern and the needle leaf Java fern sort of on either ends so that I know what's what. I mean, it's the leaves give it away, but it's just me trying to be organized. So I will speed this up for you because I don't think anyone wants to sit there and watch me gluing leaves to a stick for 10 minutes. So let's speed it up and we'll see what it looks like in the end.
attach these rocks to this driftwood just to keep it from floating. I'm attaching it with some super glue, filter floss, and I have these little mini elastic bands. It's just to keep it, you know, really, really structurally sound, because there's only like a few points where I could actually glue it together. So I just found that those elastic bands really, really helped when if the super glue failed. I also, like I said, use some filter floss just to have a little bit extra surface area for that glue to grab. And I just topped it off with some weeping moss that I recently purchased, and I just had a little bit extra left over from a previous build that I'm just going to pop into this rock, because there was like a little crevice there that I could just wedge it into. And I definitely want some more for some future builds.
So it's been a couple of days since we set up with the filters, and about 24 hours since we added in our plants here. I think the tank looks really good for a grow out tank. I think this is absolutely perfect. There's loads of space for the fish to swim around, some hiding places underneath that driftwood, and our plants are acclimating really, really well. Now I did do a water test on this. It has come up well. Now I don't have any nitrates, but I don't tend to have a lot of nitrates in my tap water regardless, so that is something that'll come with time. I have been adding a little bit of bacteria boost just to ensure that that bacteria colony is maintained. Now that I'm happy with the cycle of the tank and I'm happy with the way that I've set it up, I am going to add in some fish. My angelfish that I've got going aren't ready to go into a tank of this size, so I have a pair of red devils that I'm going to pop in here for now, just to keep that cycle going and the process growing. Yeah, I think I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I'm excited to get some baby fish in here to grow out. So I hope this helped with ideas of getting your grow out tank to be a little bit more profitable than just growing out your fish. I'm really excited to see these plants grow, especially with all the space that they have to grow out. Now, my pumps aren't working at the moment just because I turned them off so that you could hear me talk. So I will turn them back on and we can add in some fish. These fish. I have two pairs of them and they are just stunning angels. This is going to be my last video for a little bit. I am going on a 2-week break, so I will be back with a new video on the 25th of November. I do have some great videos coming up, including a green water tank, some how to breeding certain species, and of course some more tanks. So stay tuned for that. Like, follow and subscribe. I want to hear from you, and yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.